What is up, y'all? In this video, I'm gonna talk about the almost Jobros of each part and how cool they were and what they exactly did, basically. Um, Part 1, Phantom Blood. Bruford. Bruford was... He was working with that other dude and used to work for like some queen or king or whatever, and then died and got resurrected and came back and fought Jonathan and Zappelli or whatever, and he died again. But before he died, he had some like speech about like, come on now, don't do this. All I wanted was to be nice or whatever. Like, he was cool. He was kind of cool. Like, I didn't care too much for him. I remember a video of like these guys who are like talking about the localization of JoJo names, and I remember them talking about Bruford being Blueford more than Bruford in the actual manga and anime. I remember that more because Bruford was like, I would say forgettable. He's not forgettable. Like, I remember his name. I remember Bruford. But he just wasn't that cool to me. He didn't like strike me as like, oh man, this guy is cool. Like, I like Bruford. I'm not gonna be like, man, the almost Jobro, Bruford was cool. Like, he was the W. Like, yeah, he was a nice guy, and he was kind of cool at the end, and he had a cool moment with Jonathan. But I don't think I'd say like, man, this guy is cool. He's my favorite almost Jobro. Like, come on, nah. Bruford's cool, but not that cool. I like him though, but not that crazy. And after Bruford, cause you see, after Bruford, like sometimes it gets a little like, can you really count some of these people as like almost Jobros? Like part 2, like who was the almost Jobro in part 2? Like the only one that comes to mind for part 2 is Wamu. That Pillarman Wamu, he is the almost Jobro, like the closest that can be the almost Jobro. And Wamu is cool. I like Wamu. I don't hate Wamu. He was definitely like one of the cooler Pillarmen because I don't really care too much for AC/DC. And Cars was, I have a soft spot for Cars because he was just super funny. But Wamu is cool. I like Wamu. But almost Jobro, like, cause who else is gonna be the almost Jobro? Like, cause Wamu is cool, yeah, but I don't feel as though he's an almost Jobro. He's like a villain that just kind of had a cool, like, a Nova Shenron kind of villain. Like he wasn't a dickhead, but like he wasn't a good guy. I guess that is what almost Jobro is, but because I can't see Wamu being a part of the squad like that. I don't see him helping them out. He just was kind of there, like, oh yeah, like, so Wamu is not that. He's the closest you're gonna get, and I love Wamu. Wamu's such a W. I love Wamu so much. He's my boy. He's one of my favorite Pillarmen. I love Wamu so much. He was a lot of fun. The theme was so funny with Wamu. It was W. I loved Wamu. After Wamu, because part 3 is like, bruh, like, who is the almost Jobro part 3? There's only one option, truly. There's only one person that fills this like bill, kind of. Even though he wasn't like necessarily like a good guy for them, or like turned good or had a good heart or something. Like, nah, like this dude Whole Horse was like, I love Whole Horse. Like, Whole Horse for one is like amazing, and I made him I made him in Heritage for the Future. Yeah, that's the game that I made Whole Horse in, and he was okay. I don't know if he was great in that game, but he was kind of cool. I don't know, like, he was kind of cool. Just more so like getting waxed by Kakyoin over and over again, so whatever. But Whole Horse was a W. I love Whole Horse. He was a lot of fun. Because I liked his personality, and I liked the way he looked. I liked the cowboy. Like, usually I don't really care for the cowboys too much. Usually, like, the cowboys are like, they're not the coolest in shows or movies or manga. They're not the coolest. But Whole Horse is just like, come on now. Whole Horse is clean. And he lives, and like, he's not even dead. I remember hearing something about him and Josuke doing something, but I don't know what's going on with that or whatever. I don't know. Whole Horse is almost Jobro because I remember seeing a lot of art, like official art from like Whole Horse and him being with the group of like the Stardust Crusaders, you know. I really wish that he did become in the group because like I feel like that would have been cool, you know. That would have been super dope. But I'm kind of glad that he didn't in a way because I feel like Whole Horse kind of is his own thing. He deserves his own. Like, it may be strayed too far from his character, but it still would have been really cool to see him, like, at least help with one fight, you know? Because the only thing I remember him being there was, of course, the first fight where he, like, almost murdered Abdul, and then he, like, came back with Enya, or Enyaba, whatever her name was, the old lady, and he was like, yo, we gotta do something, and then like he got hit up, and then I remember him talking to Polnareff like, Polnareff, you gotta get out of here, like help me, and Polnareff's like, nah, like it just leaves him to die. So that's all I remember from that. But other than that, he came back with the little kid with his book or whatever. I don't remember him actually helping them too much or like turning a new leaf or being nice to them. But he was still a W character. I still like Whole Horse. And after Whole Horse is Yuya Fungami. Of course, the boy. Now, out of all the almost Jobros, there's maybe one other one on this list. Maybe one other on this list that is as cool as Yuya. But Yuya Fungami was super dope. He was super clean because his fight with Josuke was cool. I remember he fought Josuke, that was cool. He had all them groupies, you know, he was risen up them girls, you know. And then he came back to help Josuke this one time against Noriyasuke? No, I don't think that was his name, but it was that like light-skinned dude with the white hair who put the stuff in the paper. It was him. And he came in clutch. He was super clean in that fight because he came in clutch. He had the clutch moment with helping Josuke. That was a W. And his personality, I mean, he's a dickhead. Like, I'm not gonna say he's like kind of a douchebag. He's not like a great guy. He's kind of smug, but I like that because one, he makes it work when he's with Josuke. You know, he makes that work when he was fighting with Josuke. That was cool. And that scene where he pulled him out the shredder or whatever, that was so dope. Yuya Fungami is definitely one of the cooler ones. I really wish he did a little more, but I'm satisfied with him at least doing something. Like, at least he did something in that part instead of just like doing nothing, you know. I feel like there's a lot of almost Jobros in part 4. There's a lot. I mean, you maybe could count the small dude who was like big and then he got small for some reason. People said because he got humbled or whatever. Like, I don't know about that, but that dude with the puppet. But I'm gonna go with Yuya. I think he is the almost Jobro. Maybe he could maybe be even classified as a Jobro, but I think that's a little too far. He's an almost Jobro. He's like one of the W ones. And after Yuya Fungami, like, okay, who am I supposed to, like, who is the almost Jobro of part 5? Truly, like, who is the almost Jobro of part 5? I know a lot of people said Leaky Eye Luca. What? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how is Leaky Eye Luca the almost Jobro of part 5? I don't remember him doing anything that, like, would classify him as an almost Jobro. Like, I remember he had a bat or something and he got hit and his eye leaked and that was it. Truly. Almost Jobro, he is not an almost Jobro. Like, I don't remember him doing nothing for them like that. And I don't know if he even worked for Bucciarati, so maybe, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't remember him too much because he was forgettable. Like, Leaky Eye Luca was pretty forgettable. Like, I'm not even gonna cap. That dude was definitely forgettable. I don't remember him doing anything that was like almost Jobro right there. Almost Jobro, bro. Like, nah, he's not. No, come on now. That's ridiculous. I don't know if he's an almost Jobro. You can tell me in the comments what he did to classify him as that, or what some people think he did, whatever. You can tell me that in the comments. So after Leaky Eye Luca is Gwess. That's what a lot of people say, Gwess from part 6. Because who else is an almost Jobro from part 6? Like, who else? Like, come on. Who else is an almost Jobro? Because Gwess is like, I don't know. Gwess, really? What does she even do like that for them? I don't even, like, yes, I mean, I guess she turned over and will even try not to fight them after a little bit, but like, that's like everybody. Everyone does that in part 6. Like, a lot of people do that. Why is Gwess like, no, just because she's like cellmates with Jolene, I don't think that makes her an almost Jobro. You know, I don't know about that. So part 7, I feel like there's a couple of people who could maybe be like an almost Jobro. Like, there's definitely a couple of people, like Ringo Rodigan. Like, yeah, Ringo was like, maybe, like, cause he's not a bad guy. First of all, I loved Ringo. Like, I thought he was a W. I loved Ringo, but there's a couple of people, or Hot Pants or whatever, maybe could be one. Like, I don't know. I think the one that I'm gonna go with, from part 7, is Mountain Tim. I think he is probably the almost Jobro, because one, he actually helps them one time, like, for real. Like, yeah, Hot Pants helps them, but like, I mean, like, I feel like Mountain Tim does a little more than that, than what Hot Pants did. You know, and Hot Pants was cool. I liked Hot Pants, but I think Mountain Tim helps a little more with that, because he was like in there. I remember like that one fight, they were all like stuck or whatever, and they were like together. But Mountain Tim, you're kind of weird too for that, bro. I ain't gonna let that slide, bro. Look at that Lucy like that, bruh. Ugh, not gonna let that slide. I saw you, bruh. I saw you, man. You're not slick. You ain't slick, boy. But he was still cool. I liked Mountain Tim. He was dope. He was a W. Because he stood up for himself. He went against the president and the government or whatever. He was dope. He was cool. I mean, too bad dang, I mean, boy, dang, that kind of sucks, you know, but, and a little weird with Lucy, bruh. But it's alright, bro. You still cool. You're a cool dude. I like Mountain Tim. He was cool. And I like to stand too. He was cool, and I'm pretty sure he was the one who explained like how you get your stand to them or whatever. But he was a W. And after part 7, I don't know, Joshu from part 8. I didn't even finish reading part 8, so y'all tell me who the almost Jobro in part 8 is. And part 9, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I gotta finish part 8 before I read part 9. But so far, I think it's Joshu for part 8. That's my guess. Y'all tell me in the comments who the almost Jobro for part 8 is. But that's gonna be it for this video, y'all. Peace.